Are you totally burned out by the modern hamster wheel? Constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses, agonizing over every little minor inconvenience, and just endlessly stressing out over making your life perfectly comfortable? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at a 2,000-year-old blueprint that completely flips our modern anxieties on their head. We are talking about Seneca. He's a legendary Stoic philosopher, and his ideas offer some shockingly modern solutions to the exact same things that are keeping us up at night right now. So let's dive right into this. We're going to take Seneca's philosophy and translate it into a casual, highly relatable toolkit for you, broken down into exactly 5 key ideas. We've got 1. The universe's gym. 2. Comfort equals danger. 3. Wealth you can't lose. 4. It's an inside job. And 5. Stop chasing fake clout. All right, let's kick things off with idea number 1, which is all about the universe's gym and how we can use adversity as training. We often trick ourselves into thinking that great life is just an easy life. But Seneca argues that true greatness, it's only proven sideways when life actually gets hard. I mean, if you're just coasting without any friction, you literally cannot know your own potential. Seneca said it beautifully. He said, "The recruit pales at the thought of the wound. The veteran can look at his wound with composure." He's drawing this really vivid, intense contrast here between a terrified, raw recruit and a battle-tested veteran. The veteran knows they can bleed and still win. Struggles aren't just these terrible instances of bad luck, they're the exact mechanisms that are meant to build our resilience. It really all comes down to how we frame our hardships. We absolutely have to stop viewing hard times as random punishments. Instead, think of them as custom workouts sent by the universe's gym. Imagine the universe is like that one intense, tough love personal trainer who absolutely will not let you skip leg day. It sends you heavy weights, the difficulties, the failures, the obstacles, specifically to build up your psychological calluses. That way, you can keep fighting, even when life knocks you down on your knees. Which brings us to idea number 2, comfort equals danger. Let's talk about the perils of luxury. Have you ever noticed how much time and money we spend trying to remove every single point of friction from our daily routines? Well, listen to this brilliant warning from Seneca. He said, "Avoid debilitating prosperity, which makes men's minds soggy. He'll be dangerously susceptible to a slight breeze." A soggy mind. Think about that. If you're constantly wrapped in bubble wrap, living with underfloor heating and zero friction, you lose your edge. You become so incredibly soft that even the slightest real-world breeze suddenly feels like a devastating hurricane. We honestly tend to think that all our suffering comes from actual, unavoidable disasters. But in reality, maybe only 20% is actual danger. A massive 80% of our daily misery comes from this soggy mind effect, totally caused by excess luxury and comfort. Uninterrupted ease literally befogs the brain. As Seneca so casually pointed out, starving happens gently, but gluttony makes men literally explode. By seeking constant, unbroken comfort, we're actually actively making ourselves miserable and weak. Okay, moving on to idea number 3, wealth you can't lose. We're going to look at the incredible story of a philosopher named Stilbo. Let's walk through this timeline of absolute disaster. I want you to imagine this happening to you. On day 1, Stilbo's hometown is attacked by a notorious warlord, literally known as Demetrius the City Sacker. By day 2, the entire city burns to the ground in a massive conflagration. Then on day 3, Stilbo loses his family, his home, and absolutely everything he owns. Fast forward to day 4, he's standing in the ashes, and he is brought face to face with the conqueror himself, Demetrius. And right here, Stilbo delivers what is basically the ultimate philosophical mic drop. When Demetrius asks him what he's lost, Stilbo just looks him dead in the eye and says, "I have all my valuables with me." Demetrius is entirely confused, right? The city is literally in ashes. But Stilbo is making this profound point. A virtuous, enlightened character is an asset no conqueror can ever take away and no fire can ever burn down. Just think about the stark contrast here. External wealth, your houses, your money, your status, all of that can vanish in a bad economy or a natural disaster. But internal wealth, meaning your character, your virtue, your wisdom, that is completely fireproof. It remains entirely uninjured and unscathed no matter what the world throws at you. And honestly, that is the only wealth truly worth building. All right, here is idea number 4. It's an inside job. This is all about why happiness is purely subjective. Seneca drops this massive truth bomb on us. He says, "Not happy he who thinks himself not so," What difference does it make, after all, what your position in life is, if you dislike it yourself? This ancient wisdom hits incredibly hard today. I mean, you could literally be a tech billionaire. You could rule the entire world. But if you subjectively feel like you don't have enough, you're poor. Your objective reality totally doesn't matter if your internal judgment decides you're miserable. Now, a lot of people think Stoics are just these emotionless robots who don't care about anything. That is not true at all. They value their friends, and they definitely prefer health over sickness. But they practice pragmatic self-sufficiency. They don't mentally depend on those things to maintain their baseline sanity. They cultivate this deep self-contentment that allows them to overcome troubles if they do happen to lose those things. It's all about having a healthy preference rather than a desperate, fragile attachment. And finally, we arrive at idea number 5. Stop chasing fake clout. The classic battle of nature versus opinion. Seneca had human psychology brilliantly figured out 2 millennia ago. He said, if you shape your life according to nature, you will never be poor. If according to people's opinions, you will never be rich. Think about how profound that is. Satisfying the basic natural needs of your body is actually pretty easy, and it's cheap. But trying to impress other people, trying to manage your image in the eyes of society, man, that is a never-ending, highly expensive trap. The difference here is incredibly simple to see. Natural needs, like getting basic food, water, a warm bed, they have an endpoint. Once you get full, you stop eating. Once you get warm, you're done. But limitless opinions, trying to get the most social media clout or the newest designer logos or marble floors, that is a game you literally cannot win. Chasing these things just induces a craving for even bigger things. Falsity just has no point of termination. So the core takeaway from all this is beautifully simple. You already possess everything you need right now to be truly wealthy and resilient. You don't need endless material upgrades. You don't need the approval of strangers on the internet. And you certainly don't need a life completely free of friction. You already have the internal tools, your character and your virtue to face adversity and find true fireproof wealth today. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative question inspired by Seneca and Epicurus to chew on. If you had absolutely everything you ever wanted externally, the cars, the houses, the fame, but you still hated your life internally, would you really be rich? It is something deeply important to think about the next time you find yourself stressing over the small stuff. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep building that internal wealth.